If it was fair, there wouldn't be heroes. There wouldn't be people that could rise up against all odds. Hope might mean that you don't actually take action. Oh, I hope someday I might be like that. No. But what can you do right now to become somebody like that? To become somebody that your friends depend on? To become somebody that your friends can lean on? That your family can depend on? It doesn't matter how good you are at something, little broski. There is no enemy except the you of yesterday. If you're no good at something, all that matters is that you believe you can get better. You believe you can find your way. Believing leads to doing. The rest takes care of itself. Sup, little broski? It's been a day. It's been a hard day that I was really struggling to get through, but that is why I came here. I literally told myself, I need to go to the sandpits today or I'm going to go insane. And so, without thinking much more about it, here I am. Last time I was here, I did a lot of spiraling and thinking and stuff, and I guess I was right. That was just the start of it. I can't stop thinking about negative things pertaining to me. Like, I feel like I'm worthless. I feel like the only thing that matters about me are just the things that I do, so that people can, like, it's like almost like I'm a side character to people's story. Like, there's no way I can be the main character, you know what I mean? It's like the opposite of main character syndrome. It's like side character syndrome. Like, I feel like whenever there's any possibility to feel good, it's like, no, I shouldn't, because I'm not that guy. So I could spend all day or all night at this point. It's dark. Maybe you can tell the lighting's probably not very good. It's a little bit later in the day, but the reason it's so dark is because of air pollution, actually. I woke up yesterday morning and the sky was a strange gray, but also bright at the same time. And the sun looked like a dim light bulb. And so I was like, why does the sun look like it's not working today? And I looked it up, and it's because of air pollution. It's from the wildfires happening in Canada right now. And they say those fires are happening because of, like, the climate change and all that stuff. So there's that, like, doom story playing in the back of my head. Like, the earth is being ruined, nature is being ruined, where will we have left to go? Then there's the doom of me feeling worthless. But little broski, here's me sitting and talking about it, just a little bit. But the point is to not sit here and talk about it. The point is to go out there. You know, let's start with something positive also. Serena the Range Rover is back. Fixed it. Works like a charm. Works like a charm. So glad she's back. And that's a plus. That's an upgrade from last time. But man, do I need a change of mindset or something. I don't know. Have you ever been trying? Let's walk and talk. Let's walk and talk. Here's something I'm having a real hard time with on my personal growth journey. It's basically just, how does one navigate trying to ascend, transcend the ego, transcend the self, trying to be a better person, trying to throw away old bad habits, but then the people around you just suck you back in, it feels like. The people around you are always playing games, always being deceiving. They're stabbing each other in the back. They'll stab you in the back. You know, and for somebody like me that's had trust issues for a long time, I just don't really know how to navigate that. Like, I know I'm supposed to just be like, the only thing I can control is me. So I'm going to be better than that. I'm not going to deceive people. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to try to figure myself out while these other people do whatever it is they do that's not like that or whatever. Maybe they're trying to work on it, but it just doesn't seem that way, I guess. It seems like nobody's trying to work on themselves. Everybody just believes it's a dog-eat-dog world, and like, that's just like, you have to play the game, dog-eat-dog world. It happens where I work. It happens everywhere I go. It happens with people I've just met. It happens with people I see on the street. And it's not just, it's not like a woe is me story where, like, it's like, they're always mean to me. No, they're mean to each other. People are bad to each other. And it's like, I've spent a lot of time, and I've talked about it here, about talking about how people are just kind of like exposing or embodying the insecurities within them, the negative thoughts and negative emotions within them. And so it's not like their fault. So it's like, on the one hand, it's like not like I'm blaming the people. That's not my intent. I'm not saying like people won't let me, you know, the emphasis is not that like people are bad. That's not my emphasis. The emphasis is like, how do I get on a higher wavelength of like emotions and thoughts, and how do I start being trusting of people when all I really see is pain and being backstabbed and political games happening, you know, at work and stuff like that, like favoritism, and it's like I look at it and it's like, oh, I just got to change my mindset. But it's like, what does that mean? Do I just blindly, it almost seems like I'm gonna like, that means I'm gonna blindly just kind of walk around and be like, oh, it's nothing bad's happening, you know, and there's like a knife sticking out of my back, and it's like, that's fine, that didn't happen. They're not actually trying to do a power move on me. They're not trying to insult me. Like, is that what it takes to turn the other cheek, to like, and I'm looking at it from a vision of success, like to be happier, to be success in all forms, like joy, peace, wealth, happiness, relationships, friendships, everything. I'm looking at it like, how does one get to those higher emotions of being one of those people that everybody likes to be around, like genuinely, not just a people pleaser, but somebody that's just somebody that is like gives you really good feeling, like is just like, wow, that person is content, wow, that person is secure, not insecure, I like talking to them, I want to talk to them again. Not like, he's really cool and like that's it, you know. That was high school days, coolness factor. And so I'm trying to exercise patience, self-control, goodwill towards others. But I guess all I'm really saying is just, it's hard. Isn't it hard, little broski? And I can see myself failing at times, being affected by others. But that's kind of the point I'm coming to, is I'm not blaming anyone, and where does the blame end? You know, because I'm not blaming the people in my life right now, although my relationships are not acceptable. They don't build me up, I feel like. My relationships are just, I don't feel like I add anything. The other people kind of irritate me. Most people irritate me. I feel like I irritate other people. And so if it's a me problem, how do I get better? There's all these self-help books, personal growth books, whatever you want to call it, books, and they all talk about, oh, you got to learn yourself, you got to know yourself. And I'm figuring myself out, like, the reason I think this way is because of something that happened to me in the past. And it's like, okay, I got to let go of those feelings. And there was a while back when I came to the point where I was blaming people in the past. I was very angry at people in the past, from the past, I should say. The feeling that they messed me up. Now I have these trust issues. Now I have these ill will towards people, and I can't play nice with people because I was a loner when I was younger and they trained me to be this way. You know, the whole blame game thing. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore at all. But like, where do you go from there? You know, so it's like, I know that I'm like this now. I know that those people messed me up, and it's like, I don't blame them because they had stuff wrong with them too. Because if you think about somebody that came to you and messed you up, you know, they caused you to have trust issues because they did something really terrible to you. It's you can look at that person and to say it's their fault, and then that's why you're messed up, and now that excuses you from being bad, excuses you from being unstable. Well, it doesn't, does it? It doesn't excuse you from being unstable. It doesn't excuse you from doing hurtful things to other people. So you can look at that person from the past and say, that's not fair. That's not fair that they got to do that to me, and now I'm just messed up and I have to, what, fix myself? That's kind of it, isn't it? And you can't just spend your time blaming this person over and over and over again, because if you think about that person that did a bad thing to you, who hurt them? You have to ask yourself that question, because right now you're asking yourself the question, who hurt me? But then you think about who hurt them. Somebody else messed up? Okay, well, who hurt them? So now you're talking about generations and generations back. You know, you're talking about your great 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 grandpa or something like that, you know, or somebody that you don't, somebody that wasn't even related to you, that they had to deal with. You don't know the story, and it's weird to think that way, but it's like that's just where we are. That's what we have to deal with. It can be really heavy when you think about it that way, because it's almost like you're carrying the load of generations of trauma on your shoulders, generations of being poor to each other, generations of being ill-spirited towards each other, generations of not showing love to one another, not knowing how to show love to one another. And it's almost like you feel like you have to rebuild the house of cards or something after everybody's just been smashing the table. And I guess just the phrase that comes up is that fairness has nothing to do with it, because if it did, well, it's not fair, and that's where it ends. And we can accept that for what it is. It's not fair, but we are here and we have to deal with it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around, is just how do I deal with that? I'm trying to learn how to be a loving person. I'm trying to learn how to be a person that is patient and forgiving and can trust people without feeling like a total fraud. And so, little broski, we come here. We figure it out here. And so we realize it's not fair, little broski. We know it's not fair. If it was fair, there wouldn't be heroes. There wouldn't be people that could rise up against all odds. There wouldn't really be people that came from nothing and achieved amazing feats. People that were hated, people that were looked down upon, but yet still put their best foot forward. We're still kind to people. That kind of stuff is forged. It doesn't just appear. So how do you forge that? How do you create this kind of person that is able to withstand hatred, that's able to temper in the fires of jealousy and rage, and still come out to be a totally loving person, patient, kind, a friend, somebody who's always there for their friends? That kind of person doesn't just poof out of nowhere. They are made. So how do you make one? You believe. The first step is believing. If you don't fully believe, you hope. Hope that one day you can. But hope is shaky, because hope might mean that you don't actually take action. Oh, I hope someday I might be like that. No. But what can you do right now to become somebody like that? To become somebody that your friends depend on. To become somebody that your friends can lean on. That your family can depend on. That a random stranger would feel comfortable walking up to and say, I think this person is actually sane and not psychotic. How do you become somebody like that? Somebody trustworthy. Somebody who trusts in his fellow man. Little broski, I can't tell you how, but we can try to be that. We can look for the answers. Wherever you are, whoever you are, we can make our way in that direction to become better, to become somebody that's not just tossed and turned by the waves of this world. Somebody firmly rooted in love for their fellow man and goodwill towards them. Little broski, I can't tell you how to be that person, but I can show you what it takes to be, what it takes to exist. We can all show each other what it takes to exist by striving, by doing, by pushing, by not being afraid. Don't be afraid of the past. Don't be afraid of fools that come up to you that don't know what they're talking about. That includes you, the voice inside your head. Don't believe a word. Just believe the push. Believe the push to go do towards your dreams, towards what you want to be. That's what you have to follow, not the voice that spins in your head telling you you're not good enough over and over and over again. Little broski, you're probably just as familiar with it as I am. The voice will be vicious to you. People will be vicious to you. You have to have the courage right now, the belief that you can take it. You're strong enough to take it. And if you're not right now, you will be. sweat, blood, tears. It doesn't matter what it takes. What matters is that you're going. What matters is that we're here. So come on. Whoa. Ow. Whoa. It doesn't matter how good you are at something, little broski. There is no enemy except the you of yesterday. If you're no good at something, all that matters is that you believe you can get better. You can believe you can find your way. That's what matters. Believing leads to doing. The rest takes care of itself. If you haven't tried orange vanilla seltzer, because it sounds weird or something, maybe you never heard of it, you're missing out. You know, I used to hate seltzer and I used to hate water. I used to think there was no need for either of those foolish things. I'm talking when I was very little, a kid. I used to think soda was the only important beverage. Why drink water when you can drink soda? That's what I used to say. But it's in the times when you're really short of breath after some activity, when you've actually been doing something, that's when the water hits. That's when the seltzer hits. Because it's a balance. A little bit of the hard stuff, a little bit of the soft stuff. The hard stuff makes the soft stuff taste better. Ah! Why don't you tell me what fly was down? Doesn't matter if you're not that good. It matters that you're here. Maybe a part of the reason why I have trouble talking and formulating my thoughts is because I'm always trying to formulate and put into words emotions. I'm always trying to talk about how I feel, and I can never really seem to get it out. But I think a lot of times emotions can't get out with words. Emotions are deeper than words. I find emotion in music. but I listen to a lot of instrumentals. Listen to a lot of lyrics too, but there's more to emotion than just words. This sunset is one of a kind. Did you know that? Not only does this particular sunset look really good, and it's very interesting because maybe it's not your traditional sunset. It's like the sun is peeking through the clouds but not visible. Like you can see the rays coming out the top. But again, just describing it doesn't do it justice. You see what I'm saying? In every single sunset is unique, never to be repeated again in history. The sky will never be quite like this, ever again. What a special time to be alive. It's real easy to take it for granted, isn't it? It's real easy to take everything for granted. Nature, friends, family, even our trials, even our successes. We can take it all for granted. You can take anything for granted. That's why it's so useless to get caught up in thoughts and words, labeling things. You know, what kind of relationship do we have with this person? What kind of person am I? What kind of person are you? What kind of sunset is this? I'm sure we could come up with tons of labels for all those things, but isn't it better to just observe sometimes? To witness and be in awe of how it all just exists? How we are here able to witness it and able to be whatever we want to be? Isn't that amazing? But yet I waste so much time spinning around in my own head, labeling things and categorizing things and judging things and people, when the real me deep down inside doesn't want to do any of that. It wants to exist freely without the judgment, without the labels. And that's what nature is calling us to do, little broski. Exist. We can get so caught up in so many other things, all these obligations, all these judgments, labels. But sometimes you got to go back to square zero to realize where you're at. For me, it doesn't help to go back to square one, where I all started, where I started. I used to think that it was so good being a kid. Everything felt so cool when I was a kid. But that's not the answer. The answer is not just going back to being a kid, because we know things now. The answer is integrating the kid within you, the kid that maybe got lost, the kid that you maybe disowned, the kid that found joy in so many things. Because the truth is, we're an adult now, and the world has changed. The world around us has changed. The sand pit has changed. I have changed. But I haven't forgotten about the basics. I haven't forgotten about nature and just existing, and the things that I really want to be, the things I want to feel. I want to connect with people. I want to be loving to people. I want to add light to the world instead of being a blight. And if nothing else, coming out here reminds me that as long as that is up here, as long as wanting to be better, wanting to be a light in the world, wanting to show love to my fellow humans, as long as that's up here and stays up here, everything is gonna be okay. That's what I hear when I come out here. That's what the wilderness tells me, without words and without thoughts. A silent communication. Maybe I'm better at that kind of communication rather than words. And that's fine, because being better with words is something you can work on too. Another cool thing about a sunset, not only is it unique each and every single day, never to be repeated, but each and every moment is unique. It changes as it grows. Each and every tree, never to be this age again, never to have the same amount of leaves, same amount of branches. Next year, all that is going to change. Moment to moment, year to year, century to century, millennia. It's easy to get lost in the sauce, little broski. It's easy to feel insignificant when you talk about all that. But you have to remember, we're all part of a whole. Doesn't matter what you believe, we are all part of a whole. When I say we, I mean everything. You, me, the tree, the sand, the sky, the earth, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, all part of a whole. And we can play our part, but we also get to decide what that part is. Because right now we still have a part. Right now we can decide what part we're going to play in the grand scheme of things. That's what's powerful about right now. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sometimes we can fall into depression, little broski. Sometimes dark clouds hang overhead. Does the sun still shine, even if there are dark clouds? The answer is yes. The sun may be on the other side of the earth. It may be covered by dark clouds, but it still shines. We are the sun, little broski. It doesn't matter what dark clouds are covering us, even completely. You can still shine. There's still something there. The sun never goes out, unless it was to doubt. Then the sun would go out. Doubt used to confuse me, little broski. People used to say, oh, don't doubt yourself. And I used to say, why? So you're just going to be stuck with the same beliefs all the time? Forever? You're just going to stubbornly refuse to ever change your mind about anything? That's not what the masters mean when they say don't doubt. The ancient sages, when they say don't doubt, they mean yourself as a whole. Feelings, beliefs, thoughts, all these things can be interchanged. Interchanged as you see fit. Whatever the way of truth is, little broski, you walk in it. But do not doubt that you can walk in it. That's the point. Belief in yourself as a whole, that you can attain what you set out to attain. That you can find the way. That is the belief we must have, the unshakable belief, not doubt. The sun believes in itself, and so it still shines. And so you must believe in yourself as well. Shine brightly, no matter what cloud cover is overhead, no matter what side of the earth you're on. Don't worry, little broski, and don't doubt. Don't worry, little broski, and don't doubt. Look at that, little broski. A true sunset of the apocalypse. What if today was the final day? Would you regret anything? It can be healthy to ask yourself that question. It can be a bit scary for sure. But what would you do differently right now? Because that's the beauty of that question, is that you still have time. You don't know how much time. None of us do. But right now, that's the only time we're promised. Right now. And the reason that's a healthy question to ask yourself, what if today was the last day? If there are any feelings that come up, feelings of regret, those will point you in the direction that you need to go. Make no mistake, they will be scary directions, most likely. Maybe painful directions, but they will take you in the direction that you've been avoiding. They will show you what your true feelings are. If you would regret not telling somebody that you loved them, honestly, truly, from the heart, then what are you waiting for? You have a moment now to say that. It's not the end of the world, so tell them. What does fear and embarrassment boil down to at the end of the world? At the end of your life? I'll tell you what it boils down to. Absolutely nothing. Except maybe regret. That's the only thing it boils down to. Every fear you have that you do not confront will boil down to regret. I feel like I've died many times, started over many times. And the reason for that is because I lived many moments in regret for the previous moment. Every year of my school years was spent regretting the things I did the previous year. How I screwed things up for myself. And now I had to reap the consequences, and oh, woe is me. And there were a few moments in my life when it got so bad that I had to start over from scratch. Start over from zero. And sometimes you really do need to start over from zero. Because to be attached to the past is to be attached to shame and pain and guilt and fear. What would it be like to live with no fear? What would it be like for the current you to die? But yet you're still alive. You can start again. The whole world is in front of you. What would it be like? It's another question you got to keep asking yourself. Because if that sounds appealing to you, then there's still work to be done, isn't there? Because why can't you start over? Why can't you build from the ground up? Why can't you teach yourself new things? And there is an answer to that question. Because you're afraid to die. The old you, that is. The old you is afraid to die. Your ego is afraid to die. The pride attached to the old you is afraid to die. You're afraid of all the accomplishments that you've ever made to just be washed away with the tide. All the friendships that you kind of are holding on to right now, even if you don't think they're the best. Well, you're afraid that those would be marred if you tried to make real changes in your life. You're afraid that the person you become will just suddenly topple over and become a sham, a fake, be exposed. You're actually an imposter. You're not actually good at anything. You're afraid that all of this will fall down. But the old you that you're hanging on to, that has all those accomplishments and all that stuff attached to it, has all the pain attached to it as well. All the fear, all the anger, all the heartbreak, all the bad habits, all the tears. So what if it ended tomorrow and you were reborn? What would happen? What if you looked at everything with brand new eyes, as if every single stone and plant, tree, cloud, person was completely new, beautiful, and awe-inspiring? What if you found profound joy in just simply existing, drinking cool water on a hot summer day, listening to the crickets chirp, or not chirp, listening to the bird songs at dawn and dusk, as if they were the first music your ears ever heard? Would all that be worth it if you weren't the grand self that you thought you were before? If all your accomplishments and the legend that is you, that you believe you are, didn't exist anymore, would you trade all that for the beauty of this world? In a sense, little broski, that's what I'm trying to attain. Something like that. Because every time I say I have all this pride and I think I'm awesome, when I say that phrase, I think I'm awesome, and that I'm done thinking that I'm awesome, and that I'm talking about my pride and I have to get rid of my pride and all that. What I mean is the old me that is attached to all the things I've done, the accomplishments I've made, the things I can boast about, the way of which I carry myself. I want that to die. It's like the last thread of me that's living, the old me that's living, is this air of pride that I carry around with me that just thinks I deserve so much. I deserve special treatment. I deserve higher position. I deserve. Because I am awesome. And it makes me play the rat race game. It makes me try to vie for position. It makes me try to be better in relation to others. But in actuality, I don't want to play that game. That game doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm just getting better in relation to how I was yesterday. But what if I'm not better than yesterday? What if we don't know how to get better? Little broski, when I say I want to get better, when I come out here and I say, oh, we're going to get better today, what I'm talking about is leaving the old me behind. There simply is no other way to put it. There's no other way it can be done. The old me must die, completely and totally. The threads of who I thought I was, this amazing being that did so many cool things, and everybody thinks is just so cool. That person must die. That image must die. Because true greatness comes from becoming better, mentally, physically, spiritually, not from maintaining your image. or trying to be the coolest guy in the room. To be great means to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And then the entire human family can take care of each other. But here's the scary thing that I've come to realize, these past few days especially. It has to start with you. If you're expecting somebody else to make the first move, to make the first smile, to say hello first, to show you grace and dignity first, you might wait forever. And it's not because people are bad, it's because everybody's doing the same waiting game thing. Everybody's waiting to see if the other person is good, waiting to see if the other person is going to hurt them. But if you are strong enough in will, mind, body, and spirit, they can't hurt you. Nobody can hurt you. Because hurt happens in the mind. Hurt is a perception. We can't always change our circumstances, but we can change us. We can always change us. We can change how we react. We can change how we act. We can change how we view the world. Little broski, a lot of the dark clouds that you feel, depression, mind fog, fear, anger, anxiousness, anxiety, a lot of those things are simply propagated. You're influenced, whether you like it or not, by the world around you. Whether you're scrolling social media or you're listening to people talk to each other on the street, or you're just having a casual conversation with somebody, the influence is there about how bad the world is, about how it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and how you got to look out for your own, and that people will get you, and everyone's out to get you. That's just a mindset of fear, little broski. Worse yet, it's a mindset of helplessness, because it puts you in a state of, oh no, what are we going to do? You know what you can do? Be stronger. Be the one that people can turn to when the rest of the world turns on them. Be the one who's strong, can look out for others. Doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing. You can be stronger. We can be stronger. Thanks for hearing me out, little broski. Just remember, you decide how brightly you're going to burn. Doesn't matter how dark the world is. Doesn't matter how many clouds are covering the sky. You decide how brightly you're going to burn. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody else can decide the way you're going to go. So grab the wheel, believe in yourself, and get to it. I believe we can all do that. Thanks again so much for listening, little broski. Glad I came out here. Take care of yourself.